Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're getting into the work of Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi and his concept of flow.
Which was really part of a much bigger mission for him.
Right. It wasn't just about happiness. After seeing the chaos of World War II, his lifelong quest was to understand what makes a life worth living.
It's such a powerful backdrop. I mean, he saw lives, security, entire belief systems just dismantled. So he started looking for a psychological explanation for resilience.
And the origin story of how he got into psychology is pretty incredible.
It's fantastic. He was a young man in Switzerland, completely broke, and he stumbles into a free lecture in Zurich. The topic was flying saucers.
A lecture on flying saucers. And the speaker was...
Carl Jung.
Wow.
Yeah, and Jung wasn't talking about aliens. He was arguing that these UFOs were like modern mandalas, projections from the traumatized European psyche trying to restore order.
So that moment connected huge societal chaos with our inner lives.
And that changed everything for Csikszentmihalyi.
Okay, so let's unpack the core problem he was trying to solve. We all sort of operate on this assumption that more money, more stuff equals more happiness.
But the data just doesn't back that up. Not at all.
In the U.S., personal income has, doubled or even tripled since the 1950s?
It has, yet the percentage of people who say they're very happy has been completely flat, stuck at 30%.
So what's the nuance there?
Well, the key thing is this. A lack of basic resources definitely causes unhappiness, that's clear.
Sure.
But once you get above that poverty line, an increase in wealth does not increase happiness. It just doesn't.
So if the source of happiness isn't external, it must be internal, which
Right.
led him to study these intensely creative people, artists, scientists.
Exactly. And they all describe this state he eventually called flow. They'd call it an ecstatic state.
Which in Greek literally means to stand to the side of something.
It's like stepping into another reality. But there's a hard, mechanical reason we lose awareness of ourselves, of our problems, when we're in flow.
And it all comes down to bandwidth.
It's all about bandwidth. Your conscious mind can process about 110 bits of information per second. That's it. That's your total budget.
Just to understand this conversation, we're using about 60 bits of that, right?
Yeah, about 60. So imagine you're a composer working on a symphony or a surgeon in a complex operation. That task consumes the entire 110-bit budget.
So there's literally no processing power left over to feel hungry or worry about bills or even maintain the feeling of me.
Your existence is temporarily suspended. It's crowded out by the hyperfocus.
But, and this is a crucial point, this isn't some spontaneous magic.
Not at all. This is the big prerequisite. Flow is the reward for mastery. The research consistently shows you need about a decade of deep technical immersion in a field to access it reliably.
So let's list the other conditions. We have intense focus, time disappears. What else defines flow?
There's absolute clarity on what you need to do, and crucially, you get immediate feedback. Moment by moment, how you're doing.
And the task is hard, but possible.
Exactly. High challenge and high skill both have to be there.
Which brings us to that famous flow diagram. Flow is high challenge, high skill. What's the opposite? What happens when both are low?
That's the quadrant of apathy. It's the most negative state where you feel totally disengaged and useless.
And where do people report feeling that most often?
The single biggest contributor to that feeling of apathy in everyday life, watching television passively.
Though he does say, 7 or 8% of TV can be flow if you're actively engaged.
Yeah, if you're choosing a program that challenges you and provides feedback. But for the most part, it's the opposite of intentional engagement.
So the takeaway from our sources is really that a meaningful life isn't about accumulation. It's about the intentional effort to engage in tasks that demand a lot from you.
It is. And that leaves a really practical question for you listening. Think about the activities in your own week that fall into the arousal category.
High challenge, but low skill.
Right. That's where you feel stressed or anxious, but it's also where you learn the fastest because you're being pushed.
So the final thought is, how can you dedicate time to increasing your skill in one of those high challenge areas?
How can you intentionally move yourself out of that stress zone and into that incredibly rewarding channel of flow?